What's up, Ram fans? Welcome back to your favorite Tuesday night show, CTV Sports. I'm Mike Walsh, filling in for Madeline Davis.
But don't worry, we're not completely switching things up. I'm Leah Cackowski. Here's what Mike and I have on tap for you tonight.
Jay Norvell and Fort Air Raid had a snowy spring game. We'll hear his thoughts and a quick recap of Saturday.
CSU Softball had a bat-shattering weekend, while men's golf gained some slow-building momentum for the Mountain West Championship.
Lastly, Madeline Davis got a feature with one of CSU top athletes. And finally, our thoughts on the NBA playoffs.
All of that and more right here on CTV Sports, which starts right now.
We start with, of course, CSU football's annual spring game. However, this game definitely did not feel like spring, with snow falling for pretty much all of Saturday. But that didn't stop Norvell and his crew as they played right on through it. This game featured a matchup between the current starters versus the current second string and third string players. However, it didn't seem that way, as the starters got into a 21-0 hole early. With numerous starters not playing at 100% or not playing at all, the green team definitely looked out of sync. If you want an in-depth recap of this game, make sure to tune into Zoe Weir's segment on Thursday night. But overall, a solid piece of practice for the team. Here's what Coach Norvell had to say after the game.
I really thought our kids did a nice job of taking on what we wanted them to do, and we're really excited about what we're doing. We got kids on our team that are motivated by winning, and that's what makes me so excited and encouraged moving forward.
And yes, I know this doesn't show much hope for next season, Leah, but what are your thoughts for spring ball?
You know, it's something they do every single year,
right?
As a lot of colleges, and I think it's really good for them to get out there, kind of just get their feet underneath them again.
Definitely.
But how can we tell this early, right?
We can't take any conclusions from this.
No.
There's just nothing really to see. I mean, it's football.
Right.
It's not a high quality
And
football.
again, a lot of the starters didn't even get a whole lot of minutes in, like Tori Horton barely played, because again, what's the risk of getting injured right now, too?
Yeah, keep the guys healthy, wait for next season.
And you know what, though? I think it's still good for them to get out there, but nothing too
But
nothing
of course,
too crazy.
those weather issues weren't the only ones, because they didn't stop there.
No, because that is right, Mike. But if you thought that rain, snow, freezing temperatures, and multiple delays would have put a damper on CSU softball, you'd be incorrect. Because despite the typical Colorado spring weather weekend, the Rams managed to win big. The series didn't start until Sunday due to Friday and Saturday's weather cancellations, but the Rams were ready to go for the doubleheader. And as you can see here, it was just a home run derby all the way around. Colorado State put up a combined 30 unanswered runs against the Spartans from the day with help from Sydney Hornbuckle, this week's D1 Softball Athlete of the Week Peyton Allen, Maya Matsubara, and Haley Smith, who all hit bombs. This win extended Colorado State's streak to 7 games as they head to Fresno State in this upcoming weekend series. But as of now, CSU sits at number 5 in conference, and only the top 6 teams get a bid in the conference tournament. San Diego State leads the way at 13-3, while it remains a close race between UNLV and Fresno State, as well as CSU and Boise State. The Rams will have 6 regular season games left to prove their spot, and with this momentum, they're on the right track. And softball wasn't the only one dealing with difficult weather.
Yeah, Leah, the men's golf team also had quite the conditions this weekend, and it showed up on the scorecard, with the team tying for 7th place at Ohio State's Scarlet Course. But there was one bright spot with senior Rasmus Elm. With his best finish since 2022, Elm was able to tie for 3rd overall with a score of 2 over 215. While also tying for the 2nd most birdies on the weekend with 10, his play was the sole reason the Rams stayed in that top 7. Without him, the final standings may have been pretty different. However, placing outside the top 5 in that tournament is not the end of the world. The Rams will have a chance to get back on track this weekend as they head to the Mountain West Championships.
Colorado State tennis fell to the Pokes at the Fort Collins Country Club this past Sunday as the regular season came to a close. Emotions were high with the Senior Day celebration as well as the border rivals being in town. The day started off strong with CSU taking the doubles points with Radka Bushkova and Victoria Jarjinskaya winning 6-4 at the top line, while Zara Lennon and Sarah Weekly outlasted 7-6 at number 2. But the singles side is where it took a turn. The top two matches both went to 3 sets, as Bushkova was the only one to get points on the board for the Rams. Wyoming won at number 1, 3, 4, and 5 to clinch the match and the number 3 seed for the tournament. Despite the result, Colorado State Miley Tran is feeling good about the tournament, saying, "We don't have to do very much. We've learned a lot through the entire season. We know what we're capable of. We just have to make sure we play good tennis when we get out there." CSU finished the season at 9-11 overall and 5-5 in conference play. The Rams secured the 6th seed for the tournament, opening play tomorrow at the Darling Tennis Center against Air Force.
And coming up in Rams country, as you just heard, women's tennis begins their postseason play. Rest time is short-lived as they open the draw against another 6 seed, the Air Force Falcons. The winner will advance to play 3 seed Wyoming the following day.
But they aren't the only ones feeling the pressure. Men's golf has the first day of the Mountain West Championship this Friday.
And softball is taking the trip to Fresno, California to face the Bulldogs in a 3-game series.
And lastly, the unstoppable force at CSU's track and field squad hosts the annual Doug Max Invitational on Saturday.
Make sure to tune in next week for a recap of all to come. But don't go anywhere just yet, Ram fans. When we come back, get to know shot putter Mariano Kiss and what CHSA has to say about girls football.
I'll be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Meet 5th-year accounting and finance major, as well as star CSU shot putter, Nano Kiss.
My parents made me do a sport, and it was the one sport where I didn't have to run, because I was like a fat little kid, so.
Kiss went from being a kid participating in the sport to being a serious competitor in a short amount of time.
Freshman and sophomore year in high school, I decided to take it a lot more seriously, and then I went from being a JV kid to getting 6th at state.
And only 2 years after that 6th place performance, he found himself on the top of the podium. Head coach Brian Bernard said it's his work ethic that helps him stand out against the rest of the field.
Well, he's worked hard. I think he's really worked on his mental game a lot, so I think he's kind of dialed that in pretty well so he can kind of maximize his talent.
And maximize his talent he has, winning conference 5 out of 6 times since his freshman year. Nano has been battling some injuries this season, but Coach Bedard still believes in his athlete's ability.
We're going to tap into some mental toughness and probably take him to another level there.
And even with all the success, Kiss manages to stay humble and kind to those around him.
Obviously, there's tons of people at this school that don't even know we have a track team, knowing that, like, just because you're good at a sport doesn't mean you're, like, a better person at all.
Thank you very much, Madeline. Now, yesterday, only 10 states in the country had girls flag football as an official sport. Today, Colorado made it 11. With 86% of members in favor, the Colorado High School Activities Association Board of Directors voted today to sanction the sport. This follows a popular 2-year pilot program originally run by the Denver Broncos. According to CHSA, the pilot program had an unprecedented amount of participation, with 52 schools, over 75 teams, and over 1,300 athletes participating. CHSA Board of Directors President Ryan West said before the vote today that, quote, 51% of the girls who participated in flag football last year responded to a survey saying that they would have been doing something non-athletic if not for flag football. And Patriot League voting representative for the CHSA Legislative Council, Travis Sittner, says that, quote, this falls into the category of providing another excellent opportunity for kids to get involved. There's just some logistical concerns, but the state's on consensus, end quote. After the break, Mike, Leah, and I will be discussing our NBA playoff picks for this postseason.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Welcome back from the break, Ram fans. And now, when March Madness ended, you know we were all terribly upset. But don't worry, the NBA just started their playoff series, and we needed to talk about it. So, Leah, how about you start things off for us?
Yeah, Mike, you know, I think my bracket is not going to be much of a surprise.
I don't think it is either. I'm not going to
It's
lie.
most here,
Yeah.
but I'm excited to jump right into it.
Yeah.
So, starting off, we're going to go kind of on the west side of things. I just personally think that Oklahoma City is going to be a really dominant. They got the 1 seed for a reason. It was
They're
so
young,
close.
but still.
150%.
Like, I think we can all kind
That's
of
an
agree
easy one. That's an easy
they're
one.
a dominant team.
Right.
We know they're
Yes.
going to make it far. And then moving on, I think this is going to be a really close matchup with the Mavs and the Clippers. Clippers lead 1-0 right now. But, you know, the thing about the Clippers is they have the biggest tendency to absolutely choke when it comes to the playoffs.
Right.
They do have the tendency to choke, but I mean, they have a lot of people that are able to get stuff done compared to the Mavs, where
I like Kawhi. I think he's a great player.
This
but
is probably the most even series, though.
I think so, too.
in the West, definitely.
Definitely in the west side of things. And then moving along, and I know Mike's going to really love this pick.
I am.
I think Suns in 7, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
I like KD. I don't mind the Suns. Again, against the Nuggets, they're a huge rivalry when it comes to when we play them, but and we will play them, but that's why I'd rather play the Suns than Minnesota.
I'd rather have the
personally.
competitive series.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Nuggets would just destroy the Timberwolves.
I think it's going to be Suns in
of the
7. I think it'll be a really close one. And then I'm just going to skip over this for right now because I'll get into that later.
Yeah,
but obviously,
they're
on the
dominant.
eastern side of things, Celtics, again, extremely dominant. I don't think the Heat have it this year. Again,
especially not with Jimmy Buckets.
They had the last year.
exactly.
They had the 8 seed, you know.
They did, but even
not
like
this year. I
you
don't
saw
think
what
it's
happened to them in the finals.
No.
And, you know, I think Cleveland is going to take it in 5. I think that's going to be competitive. But
Pretty
again,
simple.
I have it to be the Celtics and the Knicks here. And, you know, guys, my finals prediction is going to be this. The Denver Nuggets against the New York Knicks. I think this is going to be one to remember. The New York Knicks, I love watching them play. I think even last night's game just contests in the Garden. That was such a fun game to watch, especially against the Nuggets too. I mean, we're looking at their players. They're so dominant. And the Sixers, to me, you can tell Embiid is hurt. You can tell it's not on his
Look, they're going to
ABI.
get past the Sixers pretty easily.
It's like
100%.
it's just not really that much of a question to me, and I just think it's so fun to see New York again have a team that is actually
It's just, they're the joke.
relevant.
They're always the butt of the joke.
Exactly.
For years,
Right.
you would look at New York on the schedule, and you just say, okay, I feel good not
It's a
watching
win.
that.
And I mean,
Yeah.
we're looking right now of the man of the night last night, Jamal Murray, game buzzer
Crazy
beater
game.
winner. Unbelievable. They have such depth in their roster, the Nuggets do, and I just think, you know, I'm a huge fan of their entire lineup. I got really into watching the Nuggets again during Bubble Murray, during COVID.
One of the like most exciting players.
Yeah.
I mean, playoff Murray is as good as anybody in the league.
Anybody. And I just think, too, those two teams are never credited in the way that they should be. So what a finals match
It's
would that
weird
be?
because New York Knicks, you'd feel like
Right?
they get all that coverage, but just they've been bad.
Yes,
And
they
just
haven't been good in so
enough.
long.
Especially with the ownership,
Right.
how they've been
Yep.
managed for the
Mhm.
past
Yep.
20
Definitely,
years.
definitely.
I mean, Jalen Brunson has already won more games as a Knick than Carmelo Anthony ever did.
Yeah.
Oh, and Melo is not going to want to play against the
Yeah.
Nuggets.
No.
He's not going to. That'll be actually, he'll get booed if he
Yeah.
goes into
Yep,
Ball
he
Arena
would.
because it's not, they
would.
hate
Yeah.
him.
He gets booed anyway.
I know, he does, but
Because he tries to
especially
take the 15 from Jokic, which you just can't do.
No, I know.
It's Jokic's
You can't.
number.
And I mean, Gideon, I have to know what do you got?
Yeah.
Like what?
I think it's going to be pretty
Okay.
similar.
I think it'll be
I'm not
similar,
gonna
but
lie.
I think we have a couple differences. So what do you got?
I'll admit it's going to be similar. So in the West, I have Oklahoma City here in 6. Listen, OKC is dominant, but they are overall playoff inexperienced. You've got a bunch of guys there making their playoff debuts. New Orleans, you saw it against the Suns back in 22. They're going to win a couple of games here, but they are injured, so I give this to OKC.
They can't win a series unless Zion comes back.
No, you cannot.
They said he might. He might come back, so.
Looking at it, Los Angeles, I'm going to take them over Dallas in 7. Listen, I love Luka. I love his dynamic with Kyrie, but you only got 2 guys there.
Yep.
Los Angeles, you got Kawhi, you got Paul George, you got Russ, you got Harden.
Yep.
You have a bunch of guys on. You got Norm Powell.
And you got Ty Lue.
Yeah.
Great coach.
Norm
Great
Powell
coach.
is better than most of the players on Oklahoma City. Or not on Oklahoma City, on Dallas.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Minnesota, Mike, you're not going to like
Hey,
this.
it's okay.
It's
just sports, It's how it goes.
I got Timberwolves in 6
Okay,
now.
okay.
And Naz Reid, I think, is going to be the X factor in this series. You don't really have anybody on Phoenix that can stop him, really. And I mean, they got rid of the guy that can in Jock Landale. Denver. Nuggets in 4 over the Lakers. We saw why last night.
I'm going to bring my broom next week.
You think it's going to? All right.
They're now
Winning
10
2 in
games.
LA? I get the 10-game thing. I think
I don't think they can come back
They might
from
sneak
that.
one out. I'm not. Oh, definitely not come back.
I'm
not saying that.
They're
by
not
any
winning
means.
this series.
They might get one, but I just
Right.
think with the momentum, they remind me of the 1990s New York Yankees.
Oh, goodness.
Being down by 20, they still, it's like fourth quarter, I wasn't even stressed.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're going to come out on top with this.
Yep.
So,
How about the East? Gideon?
In the East, I'm going to have Boston in 4 without Jimmy Buckets. Miami's doing nothing.
It's hard.
I've got Cleveland in 5. Orlando, they only have 3 players.
Same thing as OKC.
Yeah, they only have 3
young.
players that have playoff experience on that roster. Indiana and Milwaukee. I have Milwaukee in 7. Indiana is going to start making their shots.
Especially with Giannis out.
That's true.
interesting.
yeah,
Giannis
that's,
out.
that's huge. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then New York in 6. Philly, they're going to scrape out a couple games here, but honestly, without Embiid at full strength, he's never even made a conference finals. So they're not making it out.
And they're playing him while he's injured. Like,
I know.
You're just setting him up for failure. He hasn't dunked in like 10 games
That is
because he
so
can't
true.
get up there because he's too hurt.
Yep.
Yeah, it's terrible what they're doing to him. And then you're going to have New York versus Milwaukee. New York is the new 04 Pistons. They're going to work. They're getting their stuff done. Josh Hart is an all-star role player. Jalen Brunson's getting it done. I don't even want to think about how good they'd be with Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson. But they're probably going to win over Milwaukee if Giannis is hurt.
I get that.
Denver's going to beat Minnesota. That's probably the toughest matchup they're going to have in the West. You have Anthony Edwards. You have Kat. You have Gobert. Jokic is the Gobert torture chamber.
Yeah, he's going to feast on Gobert, always.
And then you're looking at it, you have OKC in 7 over Los Angeles. I love Ivica Zubac, but he's not stopping Chet. He's their main rim protector. And with how good Shea is at getting to the rim and with how good overall that team is, full of our all-star role players, OKC.
Okay.
Conference finals, Denver in 7 over Oklahoma City.
Boston.
And then Boston
Pretty
over
simple
New
ones,
York.
yeah.
Boston,
Okay.
I mean,
so you have Boston
I'm a little
next.
surprised with the 7 there with OKC. You think Denver's going to take him to 7?
I think we're going to get taken to 7
Okay.
because
Interesting.
I mean, if you look at the regular season series, Oklahoma City won 3 out of the 4 games there.
Right.
And I just see you have both of the Jalen Williams. You have Shea. You have all these guys on the bench like Kenrich Williams who are
It's a
coming
young
out
team.
here.
It's a super
Young
young
team.
team.
I feel like they can tire the Nuggets out for a couple.
Okay, I get that.
But
This matchup is.
But the Nuggets take it.
But the Nuggets take it. Experience triumphs all
Right.
here. And then Denver over Boston in 6 games here.
I like it.
Denver, what I'm about to say is going to sound dumb, but Denver is the best team in the NBA at being a team.
Okay.
They play together. Aaron Gordon on any
That's
other
not
team.
dumb at all.
I think that
think
makes
they-
sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think they play unbelievably well together. They're
Yeah.
so in sync, and that's
And
why they.
they've started the most games out of any starting
Yes.
lineup, so they've had that time to mold.
And in games where this starting 5 has played together for the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes, this team is 38-0.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that game winner! I
Yeah,
can't get over
nice.
it.
That was
and,
nice.
and Boston is the best collection of players in a starting
Right.
lineup.
Right.
But, I mean, just looking at it, we're the only ones that beat them at home this season. Well, not the only ones, but we were the first ones to beat
They
them
were
at home.
37-4, though, so
Well,
only a
Jason
few people
Tatum
beat
is
him at
like
home.
honestly one of my I love watching him
Yeah,
just as an
yeah.
NBA fan. Like I think having 26 points per game in the regular season, like he is amazing. But again, like, I think that's a very valid matchup because I think the Celtics could.
They're a fun team to watch.
Yeah. They are.
And they're the only team that won 60 games. So they got it done.
True.
They got it done in the regular season.
They are the only one, but Jokic is better than Porzingis.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right.
Aaron Gordon's going to guard Tatum the whole time. KCP is going to be on
That's where I think you
Brown.
get some scoring out of Brown, but then you're stopping Tatum. You're winning the game if you're stopping Tatum.
Yeah, and the only guy I don't think Denver has an answer for is Al Horford.
Okay.
But if you're relying on Al Horford to win you games,
You're probably not winning games.
Yeah.
All right.
and so saving the most passionate for last.
And the most different, I think.
No, I don't even want to know what Mike has compared to me.
All right.
Yeah,
Let's go straight into my bracket. It is clearly pretty opposite of your guys's. I'm still taking, the obvious ones. OKC over the Pelicans, that's easy. Clippers over the Mavs. I'm taking that to 7 games. But
Okay.
I think the Clippers are taking that. They got the experience. But then here's where the fun starts.
Okay.
I am using a little bias here, a little homer here with the Suns. But I think the Suns, are making that run. I think they're taking on the Timberwolves. They're doing it in 6. It's going to be a hard series. This first one. I think the Suns can do it this year. I think they can go all the way. Looking at the East, I really just don't see much competition for Boston. Unless Giannis is coming back and he's playing at that level he was playing at,
But
which
he's not.
He's not.
No.
And Joel Embiid is not.
They are not making a pass.
The only
to second.
team that I can see, again, is the Knicks. The
Yeah.
Knicks, kind of confronting Boston. But again, I think Boston deals with them.
Yeah.
Takes them to the finals. My finals prediction does not have the Nuggets. It features
Wow.
the Suns and the Celtics. And I'm going Suns over Celtics in 6.
Oh.
It's an interesting one, I know, but I think the Suns are the three-headed monster, and I think that takes you far in playoffs.
What do you think it's going to take for them? Because you have them playing against the Nuggets,
Yep,
correct?
so it goes Timberwolves,
Yeah.
Nuggets, and then we're going LAC.
So
Okay.
what do you?
Conference finals.
What is it going to take though for the Suns to beat Denver?
It's
Yeah.
literally just
Like-
the three-headed monster. They have to play well every game, and I know that's a lot to ask. But these are 3 of the best players of the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
I do just have one question about that Boston matchup.
Yep, for sure.
Who in your mind is going to stop Kristaps Porzingis? Because there's nobody on that roster that's able to stop a 7'3" center.
I really don't think you do stop him. I think you let him kind of get what he wants to get, and you stop everyone else. I know for a fact that Kevin Durant can guard either one of Tatum or Brown, and then you kind of just have to play around with it. You can throw Grayson Allen on Jaylen Brown. You can throw Devin Booker, who has improved as a defender. I know people do not want to admit it.
But I love
You
D-Book.
look at the stats, you watch the games, you will lie to yourself if you're telling yourself he's not a good defender.
He's not Trae Young bad anymore.
No, exactly. And that's really low.
That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think you don't. I don't even think you need to guard Porzingis that much. I think Nurkic can do well enough job, just kind of contain them a little bit. But I think you stop everyone else, and you just have the 3-headed monster and the Suns go off. Basically, I think they take this finals. I don't know.
I mean, I think though it's just crazy to think all of these teams who are like in the couple years past pretty irrelevant. Like it's really cool to see how they've all.
Don't worry, I had to sit through the 10 years
Honestly, my whole life
of the Suns never making the playoffs, never even winning more than 30 games.
The Suns being addicted to making the 9 seed.
Yes, exactly. So I had to sit through that, and now we're here. We went to the finals a few years ago. I'm hoping we make it back this year.
I remember that was a good run too.
I know,
that
was
was
a nice
fun.
run.
That was a very fun run. Has produced some generational level meme graphics.
It has.
By the way, I mean, it does bring me back to that Golden State run a couple of years back, where it feels like both sides of the bracket. Well, the West is absolutely stacked, like it hasn't been since
I feel like it could go a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I feel like with that Warriors run, you didn't expect the Warriors to make that run. So I feel like it's going to be a team like the Suns. I can even see, I don't want to say it, but I can see the Timberwolves or a team like that, the Clippers,
definitely could.
making a run, just beating all these teams that they shouldn't beat and just making a run to the finals.
Because I think the West is dominant. Like we were talking about, the East is a little bit defeated. But like you said, the West, though, has so much depth where I genuinely think that anything.
So we can agree, whoever makes it out of the West
is going to win.
Probably winning.
I think it's going to win.
It's probably winning.
There was more space between the.
I know what you're saying.
The 1 and the 2 seed in the East had more space in between them than the 1 to the 12 in the West.
It's crazy.
And that was without Memphis.
Yep, exactly.
With Memphis, this playoffs would have been an absolute bloodbath.
I mean, you just have so many teams with such good records.
And
it's hard to choose.
Back to the Suns. We got our very own David Roddy playing for us.
Exactly. Everyone at CSU has to cheer for the Suns.
And I mean, to be honest, that's the only if it comes to Suns
against the Nuggets, I get it.
Yeah.
David Roddy is going down.
For sure.
For now, I'm definitely rooting for him.
Come on, he's just sitting on the bench. He's not even playing. He's not doing much.
No,
but I
I
think
know.
the Suns, they make that run, but it's I can definitely see the Nuggets. I'm
For sure.
not going to say I'm surprised if the Nuggets make that run.
Yeah, any of the teams that we talked about certainly have a chance. Imagine how fun it would be, though, to have another finals in the Garden.
Oh my gosh.
Haven't had it in forever.
Since the 70s.
Yeah, since the 70s.
Willis Reed was. I
can't believe it's been that long.
Yep.
I think Bill Withers was still touring when the last when that was last in the Garden.
I wouldn't doubt it. I'm not going to lie to you. I would not doubt it. I mean, that's just how it goes in New York, I guess.
I
But
guess.
this could be their year. We could see it this year. I definitely have them going far.
Yes.
I at least have
I do
them
too.
winning this first series against the 76ers. That I know for sure.
They're making it to the conference finals
Yep.
for the first time since like 99.
So we've talked about the brackets. Let's just remind everyone of our finals picks, just so we have them out there. You guys see the Suns having any chance over the Nuggets? I know you chose the Nuggets. I just want any chance over the Nuggets.
Over the Nuggets, I can see it going to 6.
Okay.
I agree with Gideon. I don't think they could beat
Okay.
Denver's power. And again, it's not me being biased. I really don't think anyone can.
Okay.
I think this is going to be a legacy to where, like, this is going to be a dynasty team,
Let me
like
ask
the
you
Warriors.
this: How do you feel about the losses of Bruce Brown and Jeff Green? Do you think those are going to impact them big?
Bruce Brown?
Not much. How do you think?
Can I take this one?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Christian Brown right now is better than Bruce Brown was at any point last season.
That's so debatable.
And Peyton Watson has developed as a defensive player to the point where Jeff Green.
I like Peyton Watson.
And they have Reggie Jackson. They have so much depth where they could bring guys in there.
Reggie Jackson is not. He's not a great player.
Think about it,
Palmer
though.
legend.
I get it. I
granted.
get it. I hear what you're saying.
Michael Porter Jr. has had a season to where his
yeah.
money is actually meaning something.
It actually makes sense now.
Because
Yes, I agree.
Thinking about it in the past, like, it was almost the biggest bust, one for Mizzou when he was back there. And,
Yep, all injuries.
this is the most games he's ever played
Yep.
in the entire time he's been in the NBA.
And the Clippers doctor said he'd never play again.
Right.
Exactly. So that's why I just think with him, like, you talk about big three, I talk about Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter Jr.
sure.
against what you have.
For sure.
I just think that the Nuggets are unstoppable. Oh my gosh, I can.
I get it. I understand. I completely see the Nuggets doing this too, but it's for now.
Yeah.
For now.
I gotta go with the Suns.
Yeah.
Well, and when it comes to our predictions about the Nuggets, I mean, we have to just talk about too of like how they're going to take this into the future. So what do you think even after this year? I'm curious to hear.
I just love the quote from Jokic when he said the reason that he wants to win this championship is just to party again.
Oh yeah,
he just wants to party
wants
again.
to go back to Vegas.
You just keep that motivation every year.
Let's say they do win. Like,
Yep.
I know you were talking, like, let's say they do take this. What do you think? Do you think they could do you think they could three-peat? Do you think this could be a
If they
three-peat?
bring back the same roster, I see no reason why they couldn't.
I wanted to hear your thoughts
Yeah,
on that to see
yeah.
if they could.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Ram fans, I wish we could talk about this for the rest
I
of the
agree.
day.
We could
and next
talk
season,
about it all
we
night.
could, but unfortunately, that is all the time we have.
Yep.
Thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you then.